This is my expensive gear. This is the one, so please buy some products and books and stuff because that's her college fund. But she's like, there's two places I think Satan put on this earth, Alta and Sephora. Those are the two demons, Alta and Sephora. They're at every mall in America, and they sell lip gloss, wax. $18 for what? And she always loses it. Like there's 20 under my car seat. I need an app for lip gloss. Find my lip gloss. I went to Ulta and I go, $18. Told him, $18 for this? And he goes, I have one for $85. Can you imagine $85 for lip gloss? You can lease a Kia for $85. Do I want to go to work or have some luscious lips? You know what's going to happen if you don't use lip gloss? Nothing. Nobody died from cracked lips. Nobody. They should have them for men. They'll have different flavors, like Jack Daniel flavor, Tabasco, barbecue sauce. And they have a chain attached to it so they don't lose it. And then she goes to the other Sephora. She buys foundation and she goes, Dad, I got some base, I got some foundation, and I got some. I'm like, how much? It's like $80 for this. I'm like, listen, I could get that at Home Depot for $12. Base and foundation, $12. You can go to the AutoZone, get this whole big wax, and they give you a sponge with it. So you just. And my daughter's conservative, she wears, but her friends are always wearing like clothes, like jeans. I'm like, and they're always like when they, hey, hi, how are you? How you doing? What, did you grow this since this morning? When you left the house, these were good, and then boom, you just, like the Hulk, you just came. Just cover up, okay?
Welcome to Laughter for All. It's the podcast with comedian Nazareth.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Laughter for All podcast. I'm your host, comedian Nazareth. We're here at the studios in Corona, California. Happy New Year! Can we still say Happy New Year? I think we can. This is the second podcast this year, and I cannot believe we're at week 20 already, episode 20, and I know when I started, we didn't know, how long and how many guests, but we already, we have many guests coming in this year, so this is becoming easier and easier, and I think the more shows you do, the easier it gets, and now I just can sit on the plane and just prepare for the I was in Portland, Oregon. I did a concert for the Fish Radio Family Salem Media Group and Salem Media Group, not Salem. And what happened is, we last year I was there this time and we sold it out completely. This time it was like 30 people less than sold out, but it was a great show and I had a great time. I got to see some fans that I've known and also, meet new fans. I love that. There's two types of comedians or entertainers. There's a type that finishes the show and just goes to the green room or runs out and leaves. And I've seen comedians and speakers that do that. Not me. 30 years doing these comedy concerts. I don't care if there's 200 people or 10,000 people in the audience. I am in the back, in the lobby, shaking hands with everyone until the last person's done. And I'll tell you what, I heard stories and stories from people who just came to me and said, hey, thank you. I had cancer and this is healing. I did this, and this is, tonight was my first time laughing in years. You know what? Hey, I invited a friend who is never been to church or never heard of Christianity, and he came in and he loved the show and he was encouraged. Or someone who would say, hey, you know what? People always thought Christian comedians are not funny, and he said, you really destroyed that, which I think Christian comedians are very, very funny. We have an association called the Christian Comedy Association, and it's really, what do you call it? We have very, very funny people there, hilarious comedians, because it's harder to do comedy that is Christian. I mean, let me explain what Christian comedy is. A Christian comedian is someone that not necessarily does churches or does Adam and Eve and Noah jokes. No, a Christian comedian is someone who wants to honor God everywhere they go, every show. So there's no cussing, there's no bad words, but also this show, when they do their show at a church, it has to appeal to the audience. Like if I'm doing a show for, like I did a show for about 6 millionaires at the time, probably billionaires. I did a show for six of them, and they sat there. And of course, I did material that has to appeal to them. And I do shows for different groups. I did shows for medical doctors, for Kaiser, the old medical doctors that they were gastrointestinal doctors, and I had to go up and say, hey, I'm not used to stand before you with my clothes on, and that opened the show. And I did a lot of jokes about being, going to the doctor and waiting in line and all that. So stuff like that, depending on the audience. But there is very funny comedians. And yesterday I sent a newsletter, and I explained to pastors. And if you're a pastor and listening to me, be very careful when you hire a comedian. Because nowadays there's a lot of comedians that go out under the name of clean comedy and Christian comedy. Well, for example, if a clean comedian is talking about his girlfriend, I'm living with my girlfriend and we smoked a joint, that's actually clean comedy. The guy is not cussing, is not saying any bad words, but it's not going to fly with your elders at the church. So so you need a Christian comedian, and don't go for the ones that just the mainstream media loves. Oh, they're great. No, 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 no. Do your homework. Talk to the comedian before you hire him or her. Do that. I mean, you can talk to the agents. Tell the agents before I book this comedian, I would like to have a conversation on the phone with them. Trust me, they will. I always talk to pastors and leaders before booking the show to find out where their heart is, what their goals is, what they want out of the show. And if that doesn't, if that doesn't happen, you don't know who you're getting. Also, talk to the comedian last where they're at with the Lord. There's nothing wrong with that. You're bringing him on your pulpit. Come on, you're putting someone on your pulpit. Regardless if you consider it, oh, this is not a church thing, this is just a comedy night. No, you got to know where they're at. And also, you don't want just a comedian who just be funny and go home. You'll do great. What you need, and this is helpful for pastors and churches, you need a comedian who's going to encourage the people, inspire the people, and maybe at the end just share their testimony or something like that. Because you'll be surprised. A lot of unchurched people around your church will not come to your Sunday service uninvited, but they will come to your church uninvited if it's a comedy night. Trust me on that. I've done 4,000 shows. I can guarantee you. There's people just walk in. He said, I was walking by, I was driving, I saw the sign. It says comedy. So I came in. And I heard the laughter message. Next day I attended the church. And now I'm a member. Stuff like this happens all the time. So be very careful. Check references. Talk to other leaders and pastors who you know about if they hired that person before or who they have. And if you have to, give us a call at Laughter for All, email us at info@laughterforall.org or call us at 877-COMEDY, the number 2, and we will be able to help you out. Uh, my guest today is stuck in traffic right now. She's on her way. And of course, if you live in California, you know exactly what we mean by stuck in traffic. But if you don't live in California, you might not understand. I think in California we do need to actually name our freeways, not number them, because what so people know what they're getting to. Instead of saying take the 405 to the 5, you say, listen, you want to get to Corona, you take the excruciating pain freeway on time freeway. And if you want to save some time, you get on a suck all your money express lane and save a minute. But that's what happened. So let me tell you who my guest today, and I'm very excited to have this guest with me. She is on her way, so I'm not stalling. I can do this is a podcast. I can go 2 hours just talking by myself. A lot of podcasters do that. Never done that, but I can. But that's not why, because my goal here is to actually get you to meet my friends. Those are people I invite are my friends, and I've known them for years, and I know they have something to encourage you. Well, our guest today is Jessica Hoffman Shakir. She's a beauty coach, she's a model, she's an actress, and let me read you her bio. While Jessica would say that she has been a student of beauty almost her entire life, it is her 22 plus years as a professional in the beauty industry that truly equip her with the wisdom plus grace to lead women of all walks into an authentic beauty. Her professional experience as a makeup artist, hairstylist, TV beauty expert, model, and actress have presented her with a wonderful opportunities to speak, write, and now coach on the ever important topics of beauty plus authenticity. As a woman who has been in love with Jesus plus the Bible all her life, Jessica is extremely passionate about helping women step into their true identity, as well as making sure that every woman in her path understands the true definition of beauty. If we buy the lie and mistake culture's counterfeit definition of beauty as truth, our foundation as women will be faulty and our confidence as a whole will be completely stifled. We must build our lives on truth in order to live abundantly, as our beliefs about beauty have an immense impact on the health of our soul. So that's Jessica Hoffman Shaker. I've known her when she was Jessica Hoffman living in Hawaii. I did a concert on the island and met her at church. She was single at the time, and she had a ministry about purity and how Christian singles have to be pure till marriage. And as we met, we stayed friends, and now she got married to the man of her dreams, and she is on her way right now, probably cursing the freeway coming here. But so that's our guest today, and as I said, I was in Portland, Oregon this week, and it's different. Portland is different. You'd think Portland is more like California. It is. It is it's the same liberal stuff, but actually important itself. I was in Tigard. It was near Beaverton, and you see people going, "God bless you, God bless you," and you see a little more conservatism, just like we have here in Southern California. You have Orange County, which is conservative for now, and then you got Inland Empire, that's conservative. Then you go to LA, and boom, you're liberal. You go to San Diego, boom, it's liberal. But so really, you have to know what kind of material you're doing, because it is, you gotta be politically correct now. Talking about prejudice against human. No, no, no. Prejudice against animals. I think all animals were created equal. They should have equal rights. See, a lamb is cute, but a sheep is not. That's age discrimination. A cow is cute, but a bull is not. That's sex discrimination. White, yellow, brown cats are okay. Black cats are bad luck. Racial discrimination. A crow is smarter than a lovebird, and a pig is smarter than your dog. And I don't see a self-service pig or a crow in your cage. You know why? Because we have what we call affirmative action. Pigs deserve to get the job because they're smarter. But anyway, so that's my declaration of independence for animals. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all animals are created equal. Because when you have to think about it, remember the days when your dog roamed freely and just was. Now they're all service dogs. You really, I mean, I go to the airport and used to pet dogs. There's so many dogs at the airport right now flying. I don't know what happened in the last 5 years, but there's so many dogs, and some people just cover them under what do you call it? This emotional comfort dog. I can understand for very few, but no, I saw a Chihuahua. A Chihuahua is not an emotional comfort dog. This dog sitting. I mean, come on, who's comforting who? Give me a break. Your therapist wanted to get rid of that dog. That's why he gave it to you. That's why. But you see, and you see dogs, and you can't even pet them now because you go, hi Pooch, hey, leave him alone. He's a service dog. You can't touch him. And the dog's looking at me and is like, man, I've been working here 6 hours, no break, no lunch. Do something. I don't know when PETA and ZipRecruiter just joined hands. But speaking of dogs, I have a dachshund. He's neutered, and I named him Rocky to maintain some dignity. But Rocky is 14 years old. He's old. He doesn't do much. He just get up, eats, goes outside, and comes back and sleeps. That's all he does. And unless there's bananas or some this mandarin orange, that's what he would jump and get that. But he's getting old, and now my daughter, my youngest daughter, Tally, and my daughter, Carol, and my son, John, they're like, hey, we need a new dog before Rocky dies. Really? What if Rocky can understand your logic? Oh, before I die, you want to get another dog to replace me so you don't feel sorry when I'm gone. Tell that to your grandpa. Just tell that. Go tell that to your ailing old grandpa and say, hey grandpa, I'm gonna get me another older person. Am I like younger than you, so when you go I don't feel bad. Bad logic, but then again my daughter's 12, so what do you expect? But so anyway, so we're looking for a dog, and personally my desire is to get a dog that is a guard dog, because when my wife walks, I want her to be safe. So I want to have like a German Shepherd to be with her when she walks or she's home and I'm traveling or gone. There's a dog. Um, so anyway, so our neighbor said, hey, my best friend has a puppy. It's a white German Shepherd. Now, I was talking about discrimination and prejudice. I don't care what color the dog is. I said, a German Shepherd. Yes, let's go see it. So the kids got excited. I mean, to the point where they believed we're going to get it. And Maha, my wife, like, we don't want a big dog. We can't have a big dog. Our house is not that big to have a big dog. And there's like another human in the house. So I said, well, let's go see it. So we went and saw the puppy. And the puppy is so darn cute. I mean, so cute. And his dad was there. So anyway, so the dad is taller than me, and he stood up. He just almost pushed me to the ground, and I just rubbed the dog, just like touched him, and my hand was full of hair, full of shed hair, like I'm wearing a white glove, and I'm like, oh no, and Maha goes, no, 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 we can't have this in our house. Remember, we're Middle Eastern, it's part of our family. They don't tolerate dogs. And if you know some, if you live in a Muslim country, Muslims don't like dogs. They don't, if you don't. Yeah, so we didn't have dogs growing up. I don't know why my wife they had a big house when back in the Holy Land, so she had dogs, but they weren't inside the house. So anyway, so I said there is no way, and the owner of that puppy, he was giving me one of those rollers to roll my clothes. I'm like, he goes, just do this every time before you leave and when you come home. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm always late, so I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, so we kind of broke our kid's heart. So I am looking, and if you can call me and let me know, I am looking for a large dog that does not shed. That kind of scary enough to where people, if my wife is walking the dog, nobody will mess with her. I mean, the only thing I can find is poodle or some other, giant terrier. But anyway, so if you have any ideas, or if you know of a German Shepherd that hypoallergic, that doesn't shed much, I mean, I'm talking very minimal, please call us. Our number here is 712-775-8984. 712-775-8984. And then enter the number 205-492. Enter the number 205-492. And that will give you, just get me and say, hey, Naz, I know of a dog that, a puppy that does not shed and have, what do you call it? It's big enough and scary looking enough to do that. So that's because I know my mom. My mom comes. She used to stay with me for 21 years, and now she's staying with my brother, and he has a little puppy, a dog that does not shed. Those little, what do you call it, Friesian, whatever, poodle, I don't know what kind, but they're so cute and they don't shed, and But I know when mom comes in, she's gonna complain if we had the dog that shed. So, anybody has a mom that complains? Did your mom complain? I'm talking to our engineer, Sean Kelly.
Oh, yeah. When I grew up, she constantly complained about our house being dirty. But it was the cleanest house I've ever been in.
Is your mom a clean free? Like
Yes.
my mom, yeah.
Yes.
My mom, when I take a glass out to drink, before I turn around and pour the water in it, she takes it and washes it and puts it back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that kind of mom.
Yep.
Now, my thing is like, I was just thinking of that the other day. I said, she was a baby, was she like that? Was she or does it happen by age? I mean, I can't picture my mom at the playground at the seesaw. Why is my parents bringing me here to play? What is this seesaw? I can't do it by myself. Do I have to recruit people here? Am I here to play or recruit people? And the monkey bars. I'm gonna pull a muscle. I know that. I'm too small for this. What are they doing? Who's the idiot who made this? Hey kids, why are you coming up the slide the wrong way? Go around and use the stairs like everyone else and tell your mom to stop yapping and pay attention. And that merry-go-round, man. More like vomit go around. Come on. Why did you bring me here? And that Gerber baby food, that's disgusting. It will kill you. That's why they sell insurance for $1 with it. But that's my mom. So, Sean, is your family here in
Yeah, they're here in California, right down the road, pretty much.
Yes. I mean, did you guys got to, we talked last week and you guys got together for Christmas and played that,
the Mexican
the
Train.
Mexican Train. And also Sean came to my Bible study last Wednesday.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you. This is a Bible study of 4 to 5 men, and we just, we meet once every other week and we just open up and talk and be accountable and just share. And I encourage every man, every Christian man to have an accountability group, to have an accountability, guys that you meet with regularly and talk and open up. Because sometimes you cannot open up, with your wife or with your, family. So you got to open up with, with men. Iron sharpens iron. And it was great. It was wonderful. We keep secret. Everything that happens never comes out. So that makes people comfortable to open up and share and pray with one another, and just amazing. So thank you for coming to that
Yeah,
one.
no, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know some families. I know we were at Christmas with our families, and there's families when you get together. Sometimes you get with some families, and it's like you know you're gonna get in trouble. It's like stale milk. It's expired. It's ruined, and you put it in the fridge, and you're gonna go back and drink it again. It's what you're gonna get into when you get to the family. I know sometimes our family gatherings at Christmas it comes like. Playing games like game shows. Like when you walk in, there's always like the Price is Right. It's like I wonder what her purse cost. Maybe what do you think? Give me a price without going over. How much is it? And then after that, it end up becoming Then we have always the drunk cousin. It's always they're sober, but when they get to the party, they're always drunk. And we start playing that Wheel of Fortune. What did he say? Did he say, um, you know, pass me the steak, or did he say, give me a break? I'd like to buy a vowel for 100. And then we move into the eating, and that becomes the Fear Factor game. Oh, that's disgusting. I don't. The category is who did more for mom. I'll take who did more for mom for 200. Uh, we took her to dinner and in a romantic and nice Italian restaurant. What is we spend too much on mom for her Mother's Day? Nope. Okay. Okay. Next contestant. Okay, Alex. I'll take. We did more for mom for 500. Uh, a root canal that took a while and 3 visits. What is taking mom to the dentist? Nope. Okay. Our third contestant. Okay, Alex. I'll take. Who did more for mom for 5,000 or for 1,000? Okay. What is a U-Haul truck, a pizza, and a new mattress? Oh, who moved mom with him last week? All right. Next week, we're going to have mom who you think your relationship with her in jeopardy. Next week, it'll be double jeopardy. I don't know. This is a stupid bit I just wrote. I haven't tried it yet, but you guys are going to be my first guest because we are waiting for my guest who is fighting traffic right now. And I feel for her. She's coming from Huntington Beach, has to be in Corona, and we are looking to her. So if you guys know that we do this, any callers? Do we have any callers yet?
No,
No
not
callers
yet.
yet. They're waiting for her. So what happened is we shoot this show here from the Hope Recovery Center in Corona. And Sean Kelly, our engineer, he owns that. You don't own a nonprofit. You run
Yeah,
that.
yeah, run it. My wife and I, we founded it.
And why did you do that? You have...
Gosh, years ago, I had a problem with alcohol and drugs, and when I finally wanted help, I just couldn't find any place for me to go. I couldn't find a place I liked. I couldn't find a place I could afford. That was definitely a big thing. And I always told myself, if I get better and ever come into any kind of money or anything, I'd open up a little recovery center. And here we are 10 years later. And I didn't come into money, but, I met God and fell in love with him. And so this is a faith-based, God place that is a safe place for people.
So people come to you, and then you guys, how do you help them if they come to you here?
A bunch of different ways. I mean, we have different Bible studies. We have small groups. We have accountability partners. We have classes we offer. We have internship programs. Maybe you just need something to keep you busy. We have definitely opportunities. Maybe they want to be on the radio. They could come.
The problem with alcohol, and they are you don't know what to do with them. You don't know what to tell them. If you talk to them, they're gonna snap at you. If you say something, what do you do in that situation? How do you? If a listener have that, what do you?
Yeah, I would definitely tell that person to, have their cousin or whoever it is, give me a call and let me talk to them. Not that I'm going to talk sense into them, but, sometimes just listening to somebody. And I think your guest is walking in. So
Okay, good. Keep telling.
Oh, okay.
Okay, invite her here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Hoffman Shakir is here, and we're gonna welcome her to the show, and then we'll continue with Sean Kelly.
Oh, right here.
Come on in.
The first door here.
Hello.
Nazareth, hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Come on in.
Oh,
I'm so sorry about the traffic.
Oh, that's okay. That's what to do when you live in Huntington Beach and work all over.
No problem. This is your headphones, and we're live. So, yeah, we've been live. We talked about you, about your intro.
Oh, what did I miss?
You didn't miss anything.
Let me jump right in.
Yes.
All right.
And you need this one, and so you can hear me better.
Perfect.
How are you?
I am really good. And I had a little bit over an hour to pray about our time together, to think of funny stories, and that's like putting a lot of pressure on me, Nazareth. Like, think of something funny.
No pressure. But well, I introduced you, and I talked about you being a beauty coach, and then I just correct me if I'm wrong. I was doing a concert in Hawaii.
Yep.
And then I met you at, it was a Love Inc. or Calvary Chapel, or which
One Love Ministry.
One Love Ministry with Pastor Waxer.
Yeah.
And after the show, we talked. We had lunch.
Yep.
At at the church, and you were single, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were doing modeling, acting, and makeup in
Correct.
Hawaii. Okay, and what you had a ministry back then, right?
Yeah, back then it was called Pure Beauty Ministries.
Uh-huh.
At my heart, though, was to encourage women of faith, single women of faith, to honor God with their bodies. And if marriage was a desire of their heart, to honor their future husband while they were single, before he comes into the picture. And what I always thought was life, this beautiful life, the abundant life that God gave us, that is the cake. That is the prize. Being in connection and intimacy with God and living a authentic and aligned life. My future husband would be the icing on the cake. So my passion then and now is to get women of faith to be obsessed and excited with the cake, not just the icing. You know what I mean?
Right. That's awesome, and that's very difficult when you have the world telling you otherwise. Telling you is you gotta know the person. You gotta get to know them, and then you get married. And I'm all into that. When I accepted Christ, I mean, I wasn't a believer, so I don't. But my wife was pure. We got married, and it's just amazing. You don't have to have explanations or anything. But what do you encourage? Like, let's say there's a woman listening to us, and she's single. She goes, but I've been waiting, and I'm doing. How do you encourage someone like that to stay and know that one day her prince will come?
Well, I love talking about this topic. I love encouraging women with how to wait well. I'm continually encouraging myself with the word on how to wait well. I don't think anybody likes to wait, especially if they really want the thing, right?
Right.
Waiting is just difficult for us humans, but there is a way to do it well. And it is all about perspective and what you're focusing on. What is your attention on? And so a couple of practical, I'll begin with the practical things, how I applied it, because that's what we want, right? Like, made me beautiful and loving and kind. That's what I made to be.
Right.
So that's how I want to live my life. And while I was single, I didn't meet my husband, y'all, till I was 35 years old. Okay, when I signed that purity pledge in 95, I didn't think I'd be a 36-year-old virgin on my wedding night, but I wouldn't change it for anything. And while I was waiting for my husband, I wasn't just standing there in the waiting line. I was living this abundant life. I was following the call of God. I was living adventures, and I was saying yes to the things that God would call me to do, even though they scared the heck out of me, and this adventurous spirit in me began to grow as I stepped out of my comfort zone. And in the waiting time for my husband, I was growing my romance with the Lord. And during that time, as friends of mine would meet an awesome man, they'd get engaged, they'd get married, they'd ask me to throw their bridal party, and then years later they would ask me to throw their baby shower. I'm good at parties. I like to celebrate people. And every time I was tempted with the option of, do I feed my hopelessness? Am I going to throw a pity party for myself? Here's yet another one of my girlfriends falling in love, getting married. I'm 25, I'm 28, I'm 30, I'm 32, I'm 33. When is that ever my turn? So I had the option to either feed my hopelessness in that moment, or I could allow her love story to help me fuel my faith and feed my hope. So God really showed it to me and made it very clear that, Jessica, in this moment, you could feed one of two things. You could feed into your hopelessness, or you could feed hope. Which one are you going to feed right now? Because I'll tell you one thing that I learned from spoke life over me in my young 20s in Hawaii. And he always reminded us of the simple truth: whatever you feed the most will grow strongest in your life. Right. So I applied that to my waiting. Okay, God, am I going to grow bitter in my waiting, or am I going to grow to be the woman of my dreams? Hey, let's stop chasing the man of my dreams. I get to become the woman of my dreams. I get to be the woman that I'm proud of, that brings glory to God. I get to be the woman that I actually enjoy. And all through my single time, my 3 decades, I had the opportunity to condition my heart and my mind to want to be everything that God called me to be. So a practical way that I kept my mind right, my heart right, in a practical way that helped me wait well, is I learned to celebrate other people, and I learned that their blessing could help feed my hope.
Wow. This is powerful, Jessica. I didn't expect, this is power. This is solid theology. Okay, so you lived in Hawaii. Now, you were
I'm ready
born
for it. Let's go.
Where were you born? Where were you born?
In Anaheim, California.
You were born in Anaheim?
Yep.
And then where did you go to school?
I went to fashion college in LA, Los Angeles.
Okay, well, before that, you went to regular high school.
Oh,
You
high
didn't
school.
go to.
Orange
You weren't
County.
like 5 years old and they send you to fashion school.
I'm not that gifted. No, I grew up in Orange County, and I lived away from California for 11 years. I first moved to Tokyo with Tokyo Disneyland.
Why?
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
I used to be a Disney princess.
You were.
But they tell us.
I'm not surprised.
Which
one?
We have to say, well, I was very good friends with Princess Jasmine.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's our people.
Our people.
Yeah, our
I'm
people.
telling ya.
Middle East, yeah, Jasmine.
And when I played that character in Disneyland, California, now I didn't get to play her in Tokyo, but when I played Jasmine in Disneyland, I was meeting children from all over the world, meeting adults from all over the world.
Right.
And I just thought, you know what? One day I'm going to marry a real life Aladdin. I'm going to marry a tall, dark, and handsome.
Because that's the ultimate icing on the cake, and we'll get it. But
Yeah,
so
it is.
so you when you finished high school, you went to fashion college.
I did.
What did they teach you in fashion college? Like how to design, what to wear, what?
So I majored in visual communication. So I learned, it was a broad major. I learned how to market an item, how to take an idea and how to conceptualize an idea, how to visually communicate your idea, whether it be on paper, on, a computer, different program, various programs that they taught me. Essentially, I just learned to communicate my ideas visually and help people do the same thing. While I went to fashion college, I was still doing makeup. So for those of you, Nazareth, just probably told you that I'm a hair and makeup artist
you
for
are,
22 years.
Yes. So you
Long
learned
time.
how to do you learned how to do makeup yourself. You
Yes.
didn't. I was just writing a prayer for makeup artists, and I just said because
love
it says,
that.
"May you have a solid base and make Jesus your great foundation. May your sins be removed, not concealed."
Yes.
Amen. I don't know.
Amen.
So you started doing makeup. And then
Mm-hmm.
you do makeup for like celebrities and for
Yes.
models and stuff.
Yeah.
Who's the worst person to do makeup for?
I'll tell you right now. No,
Tell
I'm
me.
kidding.
No.
I have had the honor of working with amazing people, and prayerfully, I have been able to limit the amount of awful people that come into my life.
How do you do that?
I just pray a lot. Pray a lot. No, I've had people walk into set, and they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. I would not want to be a celebrity. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of weight. They're opening themselves up to a lot of critique, a lot of criticism. So I get when they come into a room, they might be burdened with all kinds of pressure. As a makeup artist, I want them to sit in my chair, relax, and just let me serve them and pamper them, and especially for women, remind them that beauty is something that is their birthright. God gave it to them. They have it in them to unveil. I just decorate the outside, so even if somebody arrived on set in a mood, when they get in my chair, by the time they leave my chair,
They're in a better
they're in a
mood.
different mood.
So
They're in a
that's a
better mood.
ministry right there.
Oh, totally.
Wow, were you able to share with some people?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this is a story that I do love to share because it was such a surprising story, and God, his fingerprint was all in it. But the weekend I worked with Dr. Dre and Eminem. Do you know who they are?
Yes, of course.
Look at it. That was kind of a shock to me, Nazareth, because I was used to working with women, men and women, but actors and women who are models and beauty makeup. And now all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, two hip hop moguls, What am I going to wear? What do I wear when I work with Dre and Eminem? And this is when I was living in Hawaii. And I remember as I do with every job, I hold out my hands and I say, Lord, anoint the work of my hands.
Amen.
And give me the words to speak. And if I could encourage and bless and just work through me. And so driving up to the shoot with the both of them, I was a little nervous, not going to lie. And I held up my hands. I said, Lord, anoint the work of my hands. And after the first day, we had a great time. It was so much fun. Marshall introduced himself as, hey,
Yes,
hey, I'm
Eminem,
Marshall.
Marshall.
Hey. And, well, if I could tell you a little funny story.
Yes, tell me, of
when
course.
his agent called me to book me, to book me for the shoot, he said, I have two hip hop moguls for you to work on. I can't tell you their names. It's a very top secret. And I said, well, for me to be well prepared and to do my job the way I do it, I have to know who I'm working with, and I won't share their names with anybody. I won't tweet it. But anyway, I told him how I work and what I need. And so he told me the names, and he said, Dr. Dre and Marshall Mathers. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then we went into detail about the time and all the things. And when I got off the phone, I Googled Marshall Mathers. I didn't know that was Eminem. And so I Googled, who is Marshall Mathers? And Eminem kept popping up. I go, no, not Eminem, Marshall. Maybe I spelled it wrong, Mathers. And Eminem kept popping up. I go, oh, Eminem. I'm working with Marshall Mathers, And so back to the story at hand. When I was finished with day one, I got back in my car and thanking God for a great day and thanking God just for a fun day and that it went well and that we connected well and I did my job well. And I thought, Lord, who would have ever have thought that little old me would be working with Eminem one day? And then the dots were connected. The backstory, Nazareth, is that one of my best friends, Renee, from kindergarten, I've been best friends with Renee. At one point, she told me that the Holy Spirit put on her heart that I need to be praying for this specific person. And I go, oh, who is it? Are you okay? Is your family okay? She said, well, I don't know this person, but he came to my heart, and I really felt God said, Jessica needs to pray for this person. I'm getting the chills. When that happens, I know it's like the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Or it's really air conditioned in here.
No,
I'm
it's
kidding.
warm in here, so it's the Holy Spirit. I'll blame it on him.
And she said, you need to pray for Eminem. About 5 years before I ended up working with him. And I said, well, he probably needs a lot of prayer. Okay. So prayed for Eminem. Every time I heard his song, and I like hip hop music, every time I heard his song while taking a dance class or on the radio or wherever, I would remember to pray for Eminem. And part of my prayer was, Lord, send people in his life. Allow people to cross his path who know you and can show you his love.
Wow.
And at the end of the first day of working with him, when I got in the car and processing it and going, whoa, God, that was so cool. Who would have ever thought you did. God, you did. You orchestrate all this. And so day 2, going back to work with them, I'm like, well, gosh, do I pray with him? Like, what do I do now? And I just felt God was saying, just be you. Just be kind. Just be loving. And if I give you an open door, be ready with an answer. Take it.
Yeah.
That's you. Just be you. And so at the end of the second day, Marshall comes into the room and he asked for a makeup wipe, take off the powder and everything. And I gave it to him. I go, hey, Marshall. And this was the first time in the whole 2 days that the bodyguards weren't there, the manager wasn't there, Dre wasn't there. It was just me and Marshall in a room. And so I took it upon myself to ask him a few questions, as one does, right? And I said, hey, Marshall, I'd like to know what your favorite song is. What song of yours means the most to you? And he said that nobody has ever asked him that question. And I go, no, surely you've been asked this question. He looked at me like really thoughtfully. No. Wow, nobody's ever asked me that. And he said, what would yours be? I go, well, it's probably Expected, but Mockingbird, the song he wrote for his daughter. And he just smiled and he shook his head and he goes, mine too. Mine too.
Wow.
And I go, oh. And then he walked over, and he's really funny, by the way. He's hilarious, actually. And he walked over to me, and he was just being totally facetious, but in his own humor was like, yo, Jess, I wish I can say it was a pleasure having you around, but you're kind of whack. You're just like really boring. I kind of wish you like let your personality out more,
Yeah.
And I dished it right back to him. I go, oh, good thing you said it first. I thought the same thing about you, going back and forth. And he comes over and he goes, no, man, I really appreciate you. I really love having you around. Thank you for being here. And he gave me a big hug. And in that hug, we were just like beer hugging, And I said, oh, thank you, Marshall. God bless you. And I said it with just like that conviction, And he pushed me back, and like held my shoulders, basically kind of pushed me back from the hug and looked at me for like 2 seconds. And I thought, oh no. He's like, wow, thank you. God bless you too. And he touched his heart and he's like, thank you for that.
Wow.
And that was that, So all it was, I shared a simple God bless you with Eminem. And I didn't tell him I'd been praying for him for 5 years, but God knows, and it's not my job to change anybody. It's just my job to be me and to love God and love people, and it takes the pressure off.
You're the most famous makeup artist I know.
Oh,
and
no,
you're very good at what you do, and
Well,
you
thank
were
you.
at Phil Laboratories, Lisa's wedding, and just amazing job.
I love them.
I got a text from a 7-year-old lady that says it's too late for makeup for me. Is it true?
Oh, no,
No?
definitely not. Definitely not. And if we remember, makeup does not equal beauty. So if that 7-year-old is saying maybe behind that statement, if she's saying it's too late for me to be beautiful, that's absolutely not true, because God birthed that gift in you. It's your birthright. Makeup is fun. Makeup is decoration. And we have the liberty to do that. We have the privilege of doing that as well. It's an art form. And so what I would say to that 70-year-old, makeup-wise, grab a nice mauve rose lip color. Find a blush to match, add color back to the skin, because as we age, we lose pigment, we lose color. So a nice bright, not too bright, although, hey, if that floats your boat, you can go really bright. But find just a nice pink, find a matching blush, and rock that.
See, when you hear from someone who lived in Hawaii, like flip your boat, that's not a term you use when you live inland. But here's a statement from one of my good friends. Authentic beauty begins in the soul, works its way outward. Therefore, true beauty is to be unveiled rather than applied. You said that. And that's amazing. So do you tell all this? Because, see, I have a beautiful wife, gorgeous.
Yes, you do.
She's gorgeous. She doesn't put makeup on. Just recently, she started to put a little bit. I have a 19-year-old daughter who started at age 15 putting makeup or before, and she is just so expensive. I was just sharing a comment bit. You know what? Just like foundation and I was just sharing this earlier. I said Sephora and Ulta. Those are names of demons. The demon Sephora and the demon Ulta. I just like, it's like 12, like $50 for this foundation. I said, I can go to Home Depot and get you this big foundation and base for $12 a can. But she started putting makeup. When is the right age to put makeup on? How young?
I love that question. I wouldn't allow it before. Well, I wouldn't allow it as a strong statement. I will, when I am blessed with a daughter, I want to be a part of that conversation with her. I want to be a part of that journey with her. I would allow her to wear lip gloss at 12. I would allow her to wear maybe a cream blush that brightens with a little bit of SPF at 13. If we allow it too soon, it's more likely that they will lean on makeup as part of their identity. And another thing I love to say, and people laugh because I'm a makeup artist and this is what I do, but I say, why put all your hope in something that comes off with just a little bit of water? Why would you put all your hope into...
Say that again. Why would you put your hope in
Why would you put all your hope into something that comes off with just a little bit of water?
Is it a lot of water? Because I'm paying a lot of money for makeup remover.
Well,
that blue stuff. That's like
you know a lot, Nazareth. You're right. And oil,
two daughters, and my daughter's still 12. Hopefully, she doesn't. Her sister puts some makeup on her sometimes, just a little bit. But I mean, like you go into the room. I'm so glad because my wife does not. But my daughter's like the whole sink. It's just. It's like Sephora. You're looking at it, it's like, what is this? Did I pay for all this?
Yeah.
And so do men need makeup?
For television, yes.
But for real life, no?
Nobody needs makeup in real life. It's an art form, an extension of your personality, another way to enjoy being who you are. I really love applying makeup. I love the art of makeup. Thank God I've been doing it for 22 years. But also I love the days where I don't put a stitch of makeup on and I still go out, I still run my errands, I still meet with friends. And now I'm at a place where I am still confident in who I am in my beauty with or without makeup. It was not always like that. Trust me, it was not always like that. But I appreciate the gift of makeup. It is an art form, but I don't allow myself to rely on it too heavily. And when I do, when I start to go, oh, okay, then I'll give myself hey, you're not wearing makeup for the next 2 days.
So, but some people, I mean, they don't know how to put makeup. What about those people that shave their eyebrows and then have this marker pen? Like, I'm happy today, tomorrow I'm angry.
I love this conversation. Yeah.
I don't know. I just some people put a lot like the dark stuff. They look like they're like going into horror movie.
Style.
That's not your style.
That is not my style, nor do I apply that type of makeup on my clients. And I just, again, yes, it's an extension of somebody's personality, but from being in this industry for so long and working with so many women, it's just a joy of my heart to work with women. I do notice that all too often women rely on makeup for their confidence, for their identity, for joy, for happiness. And so the eyebrow thing, hey, if you don't have good eyebrows, there are options for you to there are options that you could utilize, that you could go and have done to have natural looking eyebrows put on.
You can surgically get them done?
I'm not involved too much on that side of things, but there's microblading. Some people get that done, and it can be done really naturally. So if you're ever going to do anything semi-permanent or permanent, goodness gracious, do your homework and know who you're going to, and don't skimp on that. But I've never done any of that stuff. I'll be 39 in a couple of weeks, and it was my goal to age gracefully and to do what I could to protect my skin, to do what I can to be kind to my skin, to the skin I'm in, to my body, to this gift that God gave me.
Okay.
And at one point I'm like, you know what? Okay, it's my goal not to do anything until I'm 40. So whether that means like laser treatments after, who knows? It's not a bad thing in and of itself, but what can be dangerous is if you jump to the outer services, if you jump if you jump to realizing like I'm lacking, I'm feeling a lack in my confidence, I'm feeling a lack in my beauty. As a woman of faith, I know the Bible tells me I'm beautiful. I know I'm reflecting the image of God. I know I'm made wonderfully and perfect, but I don't feel that way. So I'm going to try to fix this emptiness, this problem, by doing something from the outside in. That is dangerous. So if you have a good mindset and a healthy mindset about it, and then you go get Botox, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's not my cup of tea.
Botox does that last for a while, or how long does that?
I've never had it done, but from what I've heard, once you start, you don't want to stop, kind of thing.
Oh, so it's a commitment. Now,
from what I've seen and heard, yeah.
You'll be the best person to ask. How big should eyelashes get? Because now they're like, they have to. You have to go to those companies that do the what do you call it, the awning. Then you have to, some women they have to get the eye. They're so like when they blink, it hits their belly button.
Yeah.
And what's what? Do we have any colors for this? No, good. So yeah,
I love
the eyelash
this conversation.
What's long enough to wear? What's the standard?
In my opinion, it's getting out of hand, Nazareth. It's getting out of hand. And then the more we see it, the more we're, not shocked by it. It's becoming the norm. And then people think, well, shucks, look at that Instagram picture. Look at her eyelashes. Look at her brows. I got to do that too. And it's just, it gets into our minds and it becomes normal. And then we keep going. Yeah, I think the pendulum has swung really to the extreme on the eyelash and the eyebrow department. And I do see a lot more women wanting to embrace their natural beauty, because eyelashes and all those things, it's high maintenance. It's a lot of money. You spend hours in a chair at a time when you're getting your eyelash extension. So for me as a makeup artist, I like to show women the quick fixes, the quick ways to do your eyebrows in the morning that look natural. Hey, it might take you 10 minutes to get them well done, but they're going to look natural, and you could wash them off at the end of the day. So I like to give women the tools to know how to highlight what they want to highlight, how to neutralize what they want to neutralize from their makeup bag and the bathroom.
Hide it.
Conceal it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, those people, see, if you have eyelashes that a fly can stand on, or if you're in the elevator and shuts down and one of them gets stuck, that's too long. But it's not pretty. I don't know. It's just like you see, and there's like a fly.
Yeah.
There's like they're shaking. But what about those people? Like my daughter's always like now this whole new thing about going and getting their eyebrows done, and you go there. And I went once, and I had this lady with a string.
Oh, you had your eyebrows threaded?
No, not me.
Oh, they did. I'm like, wow.
I don't. And they like this lady's just like doing this whole thing, which in the Middle East the men used to. The barbers used to do it for men to remove the extra hair. And now they're doing it for women. That's just amazing. And the lady's going back and forth. I'm like, that must have hurt.
Yeah.
But you don't do any of that.
No, I don't do any of that. I like to pluck eyebrows. I love shaping eyebrows, but I do it the old-fashioned way with tweezers, and that's it. But isn't it wild how much time and money and attention that women spend and put into their outer appearance?
Well, it's commercializing. It's money. It's capitalism. That's...
Right. And, I want to encourage women watching, and this is coming from a makeup artist. I've made a living decorating the faces of women and men. And I love it. And it's a beautiful, enjoyable art form. But if it's not partnered and coupled with a mind that knows that I am beautiful whether I wear makeup or not, then it can become unbalanced. And when the outer beauty and the inner beauty, when the attention on those two things become imbalanced, when you start putting more attention and more attention and more attention on only the outer beauty, then the scales are tipped. And that's when a woman can feel you're not aligned, and you feel it, and it comes out in your confidence. But I am not saying that focusing on the outer beauty is wrong. In fact, I think about when King Solomon built the temple for the Lord. He spared no detail. He spared no expense, outward and inward. You know, he wanted it to be beautiful and a treasure and an act of worship unto the God of the universe. And it was beautiful from the outside, and it was precious and holy and beautiful from the inside. And as women, we have that privilege. We share the beauty of a living God with the world, and we have the privilege of creating a beautiful aesthetic with makeup, with hair, with what we wear, you know, but it needs to be partnered with the reality that I am beautiful because God put that in me and birthed that in me.
Right.
So that balance is key if you want to be a confident woman, if you want to feel beautiful, and if you want to get that from head to heart. You have to balance it. So if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, I definitely put more time and attention into my outer appearance, then take a step back, put something on your calendar, have a soul care day, you know, have a day or 2 or 3 where you don't wear any makeup.
Really?
Just really
Yes.
come back to that and find a balance in that.
Now, what is a good... How long should putting makeup on take? I mean, just, you know, guys, I'm here for you. How long is a... Which... See, my wife doesn't, so I'm not the guy that's... I you know, people joke about, like, oh, my wife's like... My wife does not take time for that. She's just beautiful. She puts very little. But what is the normal... What's a good time? It's like, if you go over, that's way too long.
Well, before I tell you, what do you think is an ideal time? A healthy, ideal, appropriate time for...
Let's see. You slap some foundation, some base. You put the, you know, this little mascara, whatever that kills your eyes, and then you put this fake. You don't need it, and then you do. I don't know, 15 minutes. 15?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable, healthy amount of time. It can be done in 5 if you have all your product set up, if you know what you're doing, and if you've had practice. It can be done with 5 products, and you're out the door ready for work. But 15 is a more reasonable, you know, nice. I'm not rushing. I don't have a timer on. I'm enjoying the process.
Half an hour's too long, right?
Well, it depends. So if I'm going out for an evening, like a hot date night with my hubby, and I want to do something a little more special with my eyes, then I'd allow 20, 30 minutes for my own makeup. But I'll tell you, when I have a client in my chair, 45 minutes for makeup is
Normal.
the starting point. Like if I have 45 minutes, I'm good. Anything lower than that, I feel rushed because there is a skill to it, a science behind it, the layering, and don't think crazy cakey makeup when I use that word layering, but there's, products that need to go on first. Maybe that need to dry and that need to penetrate into the skin before you add the next thing. There's a science to it. So I prefer to have 45 minutes for a client in my chair. But if they're about to walk the Grammy red carpet, I might take 2 hours. Because I'm doing their body makeup, I'm doing lashes.
Oh, you do body makeup? Like what? Their shoulders and their necks?
Yeah, just making sure that any skin that's showing for television or camera is blended and even. And if I'm going to create more of a bronzy look, if I'm going to give them a fake tan, that takes time. And knowing that oftentimes the light and the various light that you encounter, whether you're on a red carpet and the bright lights and the tons of camera flashes going off, you have to know how makeup will react to that type of light versus the type of light that's on a television set.
Wow, that's a science. As
a makeup artist, you have to be knowledgeable in light too. And that's actually my favorite element of art, of design, of creation, light. You know, and there's so much spiritual connotation for that, spiritual life lessons with staying close to your light source and knowing where the light is coming from. Because as a makeup artist, I could do the most beautiful, detailed makeup. And if my client isn't photographed in the right light, you're not going to be able to see the work that I did. And so it's working with the team, working with the photographer, and making sure that it's reading well and the light is perfect and all of those things.
I do a lot, several TV shows a year, so they always put that point. And my goal is to make them laugh to where they can't finish.
Make them laugh,
Yeah,
make them laugh.
Now, what is the secret that you know as a makeup artist that women don't know that they can use in daily life? One secret.
Yeah, I would say utilizing cream makeup, cream blush, cream eyeshadow, cream concealer, especially in the blush and the eyeshadow department. I know that women who aren't makeup artists might think, oh my gosh, if I put cream blush, it's just going to run down my cheeks, or I have oily skin, or I live in Southern California, it gets really hot, or whatever it might be. But if you find and use the right product, the right cream product, and if you use the right application technique, a cream blush looks the most natural, and it's beautiful, and it blends well, and it has a longer lasting effect. It
That's
can
what I
stay
have on.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. Is it peachy keen? Because it looks like peachy keen. Okay.
Now, how do you are you sponsored by certain brands where they say, "Hey, use our product"? Or
No, I have been for maybe a particular event, a particular Instagram post, but overall, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm freelance hair and makeup artist, and I'm also doing coaching now. So
that's what I
just-
want to close the program later with, about your coaching and how people.
Oh, that'd be
You're
awesome.
amazing. I mean, this is amazing.
Oh,
Now,
thank you.
how come all your Instagram photos look perfect? What do you don't just
light. I find the light. Lighting. It's all about finding your light, ladies. Again, going back to my favorite element of design. And you know what? I'll have to do an experiment and post on Instagram. The same makeup, the same location, bad light, good light. I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Because it can be as simple as, and it's so simple, and you guys already know this, but for instance, if you're going to take a selfie, you want to turn in the direction of natural light. You don't want it behind you. Well, if you want a backlit thing, but if you want your skin to look great and glowing, face the natural light, but you want almost like a tunnel effect. Like you want to be standing under a doorway looking out into the natural light, so there's no light coming from above, because that will cast shadows. And we all have shadows. We all have crevices. I should say we all have contour and crevices. And if you have direct light above you, then we all have these, little indentions under the eyes. The wrong light, it can make you look like you have under eye circles when you might not otherwise. So make sure that you don't have light coming straight directly over your head, but you have natural light facing you head on. And then when you're going to do a selfie, tilt your chin up a little bit, hold the camera up above you and look up, so the natural light is coming on you.
Wow, this is gold. This is
Is
amazing.
it? Are you going to use that next time you take a selfie?
Of course,
in Nazareth?
of course. I mean, I'm doing this. This program is going to be listened to by, 25, 30, 40,000 people.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody.
And hopefully that will encourage you. Jessica just opened her Bible. Go ahead.
I did. It's my favorite book. So I want to read you one of my favorite scriptures.
Yes.
Found in 2 Corinthians 3:16 and 18. It's going along the lines of what I was just sharing.
Instagram? The Bible talks about Instagram.
The Bible talks about lifting our eyes and facing the light. But whenever a person turns to the Lord, the veil is removed. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. We all, with unveiled faces, are reflecting the glory of the Lord and are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory. This is from the Lord, who is the Spirit. And in my margin, I put the word beauty. For me, that is beauty. When we can, with unveiled faces, meaning
Without
take
makeup.
off the shame, even. Take off the insecurity. Take off the, I'm going to play small. Take off the need to hide behind false humility, because when we play small, all we're doing is limiting how God can work through us. And so when we, with unveiled faces, shaking off any hindrances, anything that hold us back, lifting our eyes to the light, to the sun, to Jesus, to heaven. Then we reflect that light to the world. That is radiance. That is beauty. And I want to say too, beauty, essentially, if you look up the definition in the dictionary, is a group of or characteristics that naturally attract or allure. So beauty essentially gets our attention. You know, when God created creation, every layer of creation, he gave a stamp of approval by saying, this is good. This is very good. And the Hebrew word for good was, I believe, tob, and it had to do with an aesthetically pleasing element. When God created creation, he was essentially saying, this is good and this is beautiful. He did that for us, and he knew we would be drawn to beautiful things. And so women, we have this gift of beauty in us, whether you wear makeup or not. The big question I have for you is, what are you going to do with that attention when you get it? What are you going to do with that attention when you get it? And my goal is always to point back to heaven, where my gift came from, where beauty originates from.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I mean, to connect it with the Word of God and all that. Now, you did modeling as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And for what kind of modeling? Like for fashion modeling or makeup?
Yeah,
Like,
both of those things. But where I really found, success in, and where I was really finding myself being booked over and over again, was resort modeling when I was in Hawaii. And it was so much fun. So I got to fly to all the outer islands and pretend like I was on a vacation at a fancy resort or hotel, and they snap pictures of me and my fake husband, and oftentimes my fake children. And my picture would be in the